Dun 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 dun. Hey everybody, welcome to TPIM SR Live. I am your host, TruePowerIsMine. Today's date, December 12th, 2019, the year of our Lord. This year is about ready to wrap it up, yo. And hopefully we all survive the next. I want to start off today with just a little bit of Bubba Dick Gregory's interview. It helps sets the tempo for the overall video today. So let's check it out with further ado.
Al Sharpton is probably the most powerful Negro in America. Why? He had that television show, white station, 5 days a week, black station, 5 days a week. Anytime something happened in New York, blacks and whites, they came and got Al. And then the Pope came to New York 6 months ago. The most powerful human being on the planet. Bullshit, but he is. It made Al leave town.
Peace and power, Brother Marty. Welcome to the show.
The Pope, the only black place he went to when he was here was the black school in Harlem. Al wasn't there, and that didn't bother him, and that didn't bother his supporters. Are you crazy?
One of the things a lot of people are commenting on, and after watching your videos, they want to know what your thoughts are, the difference between white supremacy and white privilege.
White supremacy? People that got white primacy get killed by white supremacy. People got white privilege still have to go to the military. The big folks don't go.
You hear that? The brothers now is breaking down the reality of the thing. The big folks don't have to go to military, but you gonna go to the military and die, boy. And if you do survive the military, then you're still gonna have to pay your bills. You're still gonna have to be a wage slave. You still will never have liberation or true freedom. Yet the ones on top, almost from birth, have the opportunity to enjoy liberation. Let's continue.
White supreme. They just break the word down. I'm white and I'm supreme. It didn't say supreme to niggas. I'm supreme to anybody who ain't my blood. It's simple. It's a good question you asked. And thank God you shut up long enough to hear an answer. Because the answer is in the name. Huh? It says to my children, that's one of the richest men in the world. They don't have to ask why. It's in what I told them. Huh? In what I told them. Queen Elizabeth. See, white ain't a color. Most of y'all ain't never met a white person. White person ain't never met a white person.
Are you really drawing off what he's saying? The truth behind his words? I mean, to really break it down to the uninitiated, what he really means are wealthy people and poor people. Now, it just so happens most of the truly wealthy people would appear on the outside as white. But we know that there's more to human beings than meets the eye. Let's continue.
White's not a color, it's an attitude. And if you ain't got trillions of dollars in the bank, you can't have the attitude. Queen Elizabeth made $360 million every 24 hours, just interest on her money. Every 24 hours. Because you don't even understand money. You take $1 million, every nigga I see won't be a millionaire. Take $1 million and change it into seconds. 1 million seconds is 13 days. Take $1 billion and change it into seconds.
32
it's
years.
32 years.
That's a Masonic number as well. 32, very powerful number. OJ.
Want to be a millionaire, but a fool. But if you don't know that, If you don't know that, then that's the games they play. And yet, Queen Elizabeth cannot go in London without getting permission from the Lord Mayor. Did you hear me?
Sister Love, welcome to the show. Peace and power.
Because, see, London's not part of Britain. Like Rome's, the Vatican's not part of Rome. So if they give her the permission, the Lord Mayor, then she got to go dress up like a servant and come through the back gate, the temple gate. And they do that devil ritual with the purple and all the stuff on.
It's awesome that Brother Gregory mentioned Rome in that, because the city he's speaking of within the city that we know today as London is the old city of London, which used to be called Londinium, which was basically the farthest Western Roman outpost or city. And the walls were so strong that when King William came to England and wanted to unite the island there, he could never penetrate the walls on that city. Let that sink in. And because that city is quite literally older than the country of England, it has special rights and privileges that it itself only enjoys. And in the city, corporations are alive and they do get to vote. All right, let's continue.
Queen Elizabeth. Okay. These are the games they play. But then you listen to something else that you're born with. You ever heard of Marie Antoinette?
Of course.
Yeah, I didn't say of course.
I'm sorry.
I said it because I heard of her. Everybody heard. You know what the bitch looked like? Huh?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And what brought her down?
The let them eat cake.
Okay. Now think about that. Because I ain't never met a nigga that didn't like cake. What did that bitch do? There's a universal thing she interfered with. That's simple. There ain't no guns. Huh? No bullets. She said, let them eat cake. I ain't never met somebody that didn't like cake. But you.
Boom. I'm up here starving. And the chick says, F it, let them eat, feed them cake. And you're supposed to get angry over that? You're supposed to get in such a rage? That's not what it's about.
You better not tell me. That's what it's about. And then the rest of the country said, okay, let's have welfare. Let's give free food away. Never let this happen to us. They bumped into something they couldn't deal with. That's simple. I ain't never knew what that bitch looked like. Still don't know what she looked like. Not interested in knowing what she looked like. Huh? But I know about that. I know about that. And so the whole game is something that's bigger than us. Huh? You get on the show and do a show and try to tell, especially poor folk, that reading is a violation of the universe. If you get on a plane today and go to Tokyo, can you read a Japanese paper? Do you think the universe made something that changed when you cross a border? Because when this planet, there were no borders. You hear me?
Yes.
There were no borders. This is bullshit so I can control you.
There it is.
I got 10 children. If you interviewed my children and they told you, we're so scared of our daddy. Why? He taught us to fear him. You know I'm crazy, right? Then when they tell you fear God, you don't think God's crazy, or are they lying? Huh? Fear is a negative. But if you do the research and find out what fear do to your body, huh? Fear God. Is that a bitch? And we believe it. Forgive. Let God tell me, the universe, if I mess up, it's going to put me in a pot and cook me. I don't want to be with that God. That tell me I ain't supposed to do it. but you can. I didn't know that the Romans invented crosses 1,000 years before Christ was born. I thought they invented it for Jesus. Huh? So 1,000 years. Why? Because that's where they killed revolutionists. So if you walking down the street with your mother, wasn't no radio, TV, and you saw man hanging on the cross, they didn't do women because all their vagina, everything would come out from being hung.
Wow.
And so you say, Mommy, what's that thing? Oh, he made the state mad. It's for revolutionists. Then why was those two thieves on the cross, nigga? Were they revolutionists? See how easy it is? When you get a bit of information. And then the one said, if you who you say you are, well, thank God I'd have killed him right there on the cross. You don't talk to me like that, you thug. And then the other one said what niggas and po for. Father, when you get to where you no, nigga, you ain't even repented. You ain't even asked for forgiveness. See how it work? That.
So I remember you saying, that we're all part of the filth because we pay taxes.
Pay taxes. Not all of us. Most of us who think that. There are people. Do you know how many slaves jumped off before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave? The niggas be saying that ain't gonna die. They're just singing a song. But there are people. There are people. Oh, my mother and them taught me that Baptist bullshit. That the one thing you can't be forgiven for is suicide. That's what my folks taught me. You mean if I'm gonna come by your house and kill your family, I can be forgiven?
Yep.
But if I shoot myself so I won't do it, I won't be forgiven. Y'all buy into that bullshit?
Yep.
And so once you stop it, then you get to the order. To the order. And then people come and tell you things. We got children that I let my children look at George Washington. Them was a bunch of slave owners. Huh? They don't look like slave owners. Spit and polish. Once you own me, you rape a chicken, man. But I didn't see that. My mom and them didn't know. They thought they was heroes.
But the thing is, now we know, right? Now we understand. Now we see the reality of this thing. But we still willfully turn a blind eye. Let's continue.
They were slave owners. That brings up one of the topics. I guess Harriet Tubman's going to be on the $20 bill now. Do you have any thoughts about?
Yeah, big thoughts. You didn't say it right. She's going to be on the front.
The front of the 20, yes.
Yeah. See, if I'm looking for you for information, that slave owner's going to be on the back.
Just like the movie, right? The slave owner wanted to protect old Harriet. The slave owner had her back. Hopefully you guys are seeing the code this morning. Let's continue.
The most important thing about that is a black woman, felon, fugitive from justice, replaced the slave owner with a slave. Whew. Tell my grandchildren that. Replace the slave owner with a slave. They had reward for her and her two sons. Well, the back of a $20 bill now. She got the money to pay it. Yeah, take my money. How much I owe you? Put everything in. Figure up how much interest from back then. You talking to mama now. That's universal law. That's you. Nobody said, but she's a fugitive. Her sons were fugitives. There was a reward. Then you know there's somebody here other than you. And didn't change her outfit. Niggas would have been, they tried to make her look like a society. Gonna outdress Queen Elizabeth. Say, no, put her right there. Right there. Let her see. And see, that's what's wrong with the word nigger. The N word, white folk can't see what it was. And one of the sad things about the N word, it wasn't one black person sitting in the room when the white folks made that decision that it's going to be the N word. Can you believe that? And then at the president's dinner Saturday, did you see it?
Larry Wilmore, yeah.
When Larry said, "You my nigga," did you see the president pump his chest? And then Al Sharpton came out and still attacked Larry. I thought the president was your friend, nigga. Huh? If he pump his chest and he the most powerful man in the world, what's wrong with you? You sanction everything else he do. Huh? What is this about, man? Them white folks in the room was shocked, but the president. And so when you stop and think about it, and I heard something that night listening to what they were saying. Larry Wilmore, one of them thuggish news people, reviewing and said he wasn't talking to us, he wasn't talking to nobody in this room. He's talking to his people. That's what you do with this. Huh? You go to bed sad because you can't get it on NBC, something wrong with you.
The era of slavery has been shown more.
Yes. NBC. Hold on. I want to segue. I believe it's this one.
Prescribed to make the body more feminine or more masculine.
Oh, hold on. I tried to have all this in some sort of
order. The 12th of January 2017, Game of Thrones. I do not watch television. However, I have heard so many far right-wing radio shows referring to Game of Thrones, I decided not to pass up the chance to purchase the first 6 seasons at an incredibly low price. I am only into season 2, but every damn episode thus far has continuously reminded me of something which I shared on a radio show back in 1993. When I hear listeners calling into this radio show, I am often reminded why it is often very easy to manipulate black and brown folks. Black and brown men tend to think with their hearts, while many, if not most, European men think with their minds. Blacks and browns tend to hail from countries which have warm climates and where sharing with others is the norm. Meanwhile, Europeans hail from countries which are bitterly cold, and it was usually survival of the fittest. They quickly learned to trust no one and where only a fool would share what little was available. Kindness is seen as a sign of weakness. To continue to survive, Europeans had to go to warmer regions to find more resources. In such places as Africa and the Americas, they found inhabitants who were willing to share their resources. However, coming from a hostile environment, Europeans do not share. They take it all. They are as human locusts. They will remain only long enough until everything is gone before moving on to the next country. And they do not give a damn about eating their own to accomplish their insatiable appetite for resources. Wealth and Power, Michael B. Parler, summer 1993 on front page KJLH 102.3 FM Inglewood, California. Seeing how blatant sun god worshipping, blatant bigotry, blatant misogyny and blatant what's in it for me is so prevalent in this television series, I now fully understand why this show is so popular among far right-wing political talk show hosts. Although I am only into season 2, being someone who used to dream of training an all-woman special warfare cadre, naturally the character Arya Stark, Maisie Williams, is already my favorite Game of Thrones character. I only hope that Williams and all of the other child actors are capable of surviving Hollywood Babylon. the 12th of June 2019. I finally received my copy of the final season. Woohoo! Once again, I was reminded why the character Arya Stark, Maisie Williams, is my favorite Game of Thrones character.
Unity Mitford and Diana
Semper
Mitford
Fi,
Mosley.
Major Pain.
Rarely do I ever agree with Rush Limbaugh. However, Limbaugh is often accurate when he chooses to use the word feminazi. Some of the biggest threats to equal rights for blacks have come from so-called liberal whites within the gay community. The civil rights movement had no gay advocates risking their lives by outing themselves to fight for our struggles. Unscrupulous politicians, primarily Democrats, who choose to subvert the civil rights movement, included women's rights and gay rights, hoping to prevent the Civil Rights Bill from being passed. During the 1970s, many black feminists blindly followed Gloria Steinem, who was CIA. Some of the most bigoted individuals whom I have ever met are proud LGBT individuals, and all anyone needs to do is research how bigoted many gays were during the O.J. Simpson trial. A great example is Tammy Bruce. During the trial, Bruce was the president of the Los Angeles chapter for the National Organization for Women, NOW. Well, Bruce was such a virulent feminazi, spewing her poisonous rhetoric on KFI, 0640 AM Los Angeles, California, radio station, that even the national headquarters have now distanced themselves from her. She epitomizes what many blacks fear in this country, a person who claims to be a liberal, while spewing some of the most racist conservative viewpoints. Interestingly, Bruce has gone from being a liberal to now being an independent conservative, and during this election year she supported McCain and Palin. Bruce reminds me of Hitler's darling Diane Mitford. Michael B. Parler, November 14th.
Now, jumping gears just a little bit. I give you all, Bo Sneedley, Dean Dave, Bratt. Listen to this, and then we're going to move on.
Roll and welcome, everybody. It's great to have you with us today at Liberty University School of Business. Today we had the business convocation with Mr. James Golden, and I just want to give a brief overview of James's background. He's the executive producer of the Rush Limbaugh show, goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley, but that show reaches 10 to 20 million people.
Did you just hear what this dude just said? Who James Golden is? Let's, for the uninitiated, once again.
Roll and welcome, everybody. It's great to have you with us today at Liberty University School of Business. Today we had the business convocation with Mr. James Golden, and I just want to give a brief overview.
Oh, I wish I could have stopped.
Overview of James's background. He's the executive producer of the Rush Limbaugh show, goes by the pseudonym Bo Snerdley, but that show reaches 10 to 20 million people. Kind of interesting to think that I'm sitting with the producer.
Now, if you saw a dude walking down the street, you would not know who he is or what he is capable of achieving. More than meets the eye. Right? A transformer, straight up. Let's hear.
Of the biggest media show in history, period. That kind of came on me. I started doing my research, and that's pretty powerful stuff. And so the radio stations he's affiliated with hit 250 million people, and he works every day on content. He's been working side by side with Rush for 30 years on the daily news that affects all of our lives. And so as an educator, I like to be with people who are smarter than me. And so with that, I'd like to welcome Mr. James Golden.
I don't know where to go with that. Smarter than you, no way.
Oh, yeah.
No way, Professor. And Congress.
Yow's the boss. Yow's the boss. Me's no better than you, boss. Here we go.
And secondly, when I hear you, I get a little bit embarrassed because let me just set the record really, really straight. Rush Limbaugh does not need a producer.
Yeah.
Doesn't need. So when he's away, maybe produce the show. When Rush is there, Rush is the show.
Yep.
He is the most incredible broadcaster of this and last century. He spanned.
Yep.
Now, when Rush first started, let me just since we're going to go there, let's go there for a minute. When Rush first started, he was on 56 radio stations. Within a few years, that grew to over 600 radio stations. When Rush first started, there were approximately 1,200 radio stations in the country that were doing a talk radio format. After Rush picked up his steam and got going, the rest has been history. There are over 12,000 now across the country that are doing the talk format. I was in New York recently. I ran into a friend of mine who is a high-powered executive on Fox News. And one of the things that he said to me, and I won't call names, he said, if it wasn't for Rush, there would be no Fox News. And that is absolutely 100% true.
And what has Fox News really achieved? Has it been a vehicle to espouse hatred and misogyny and bigotry, to wrap it up and veil it in some sort of righteous, conservative, Judeo-Christian cause? And this brother, Mr. Golden, is cool with it. He's plugged into it. He's getting all these accolades by the professor here. And old brother James over here is just eating it up. This is what Dick Gregory was talking about in that first video that I showed you. It's a game, y'all. This is a game. And unless you know you're in it, unless you know you're being either a willing or non-willing participant of it, you are destined to be victimized by it. Almost guaranteed. Now, getting back to the whole civil rights aspect of this thing, and when I played those two audio clips of some of Major Payne's writing, aka Mark from Anaheim, there's another, I guess, part of this madness that we should discuss, and it is to continue war on basically normal sexuality. A few weeks ago, I did a special report about the Planned Parenthood complex, and it is just that. It's a big building in East St. Louis that's going to be used to grind up human babies. It's going to be used to basically stifle life, not enrich it, not make it prosperous, but consolidate power. Meaning telling women, you don't need this baby. You'll be more economically viable being a single woman. And don't let this baby hold you down for your dreams and goals. And what's ultimately these dreams and goals they're talking about is being a better wage slave until you die. But there's another aspect to Planned Parenthood. And with that, let's get this one up. Hold on, it's working. I think it's working. It should be.
Unity Mitford and Diana Mitford.
No, that's it. Okay, hold on, y'all. You gotta bear with me. I kind of. All right.
Gender-affirming hormone therapy. Hormone therapy. Hormones may be prescribed to make the body more feminine or more masculine. Because the effects of hormone therapy may be permanent, it is important to discuss options and desired effects with a healthcare provider. Hormone therapy may include feminizing medications, estradiol and progestin preparations, anti-androgen medications, spironolactone, finasteride, and minoxidil, masculinizing medications, testosterone preparations, hormone therapy plan and ongoing care. Care planning includes an examination and treatment planning by a team consisting of an advanced practice nurse and licensed clinical social worker, LCSW. Initial visit. Examination and lab work plus discussion of treatment goals and expectations, side effects, and risks of therapy with an advanced practice nurse and clinical social worker. Second visit. Review of lab results and prescription for hormone therapy. Ongoing visits. 2 to 4 times per year to monitor health, address goals, review medications and update lab testing as needed. Already in therapy. Patients can provide a therapy letter in place of meeting with the LCSW. Initial visit. The letter should include the following, as outlined in the World Professional Association for Transgender Health Standards of Care. 1. The client's general identifying characteristics, 2. Results of the client's psychosocial assessment, including any diagnoses. 3. The duration of the referring health professional's relationship with the client, including the type of evaluation and therapy or counseling to date. 4. An explanation that the criteria for hormone therapy have been met, and a brief description of the clinical rationale for supporting the client's request for hormone therapy. 5. A statement about the fact that informed consent has been obtained from the patient. 6. A statement that the referring health professional is available for coordination of care and welcomes a full to establish this.
Okay.
Gender-affirming hormone.
So basically, the whole point of this is to show you that this is, I want you, hopefully you guys can see this banner here. Right here, Planned Parenthood of Illinois. That's another thing that this complex will be engaging in. For those babies that happen to make it through the womb passage, they're going to set them up for basically sterilization. Whenever you're a woman and you have your vagina basically mutilated and turned into I guess a penis of some sort, what do they do with your eggs? And when you're a male and they basically banana split you and cut off your balls, that's sterilization. That goes right into the whole eugenics ideal of weeding out the weak. And in this case, obviously these people are mentally, I guess, distraught because they have to do a psychological evaluation prior to getting all this stuff done. So what I'm ultimately saying is we are being preyed upon, whether it's economically, whether it's spiritually, or where it's quite literally physically. We are being preyed upon. And it all goes back to ignorance, brothers and sisters. It all goes back to incorrect rearing and raising, because the people who are rearing and or raising you was operating under either incomplete or inaccurate information. And all this goes back to is, I'm going to control you. You're going to bow down and be a peasant, be a peon, be a thug, be a degenerate. Because all those words, all those concepts were placed in your mind. They were placed in your consciousness. Without reference and clear meaning of words, words are nothing more than whispers of wind. But when we have context or understanding of what these sounds mean, then we can formulate a thought. And a thought can begot behavioral changes, good or bad. We can be indoctrinated to love the nation, the tribe, the race, or we can be indoctrinated to love unity, peace, and prosperity. But that's really entirely up to the masters of the world. And trust me, y'all, this mudball we love and call Earth has masters, physical, living, breathing beings that can end you like that. If you think that that's a hyperbolic, I guess, answer or statement, then go out there and anger the wrong people and see if you don't get Epstein up out of here. Go out there and anger the wrong organizations and see if you don't have a bad day in Dallas with the top down, rolling side to side. And that's what keeps you all in your place. I know this, you know this, and they know it as well. Either you continue down this road of willful ignorance and hoping everything will be okay just as the gazelle on the Serengeti hopes that it's not the one the lion pride chooses for dinner or lunch or breakfast that particular day. But I'm telling you all right now, using the gazelle analogy, if you all would unite, use your intelligence, form a line, put your heads down, but your horns out and charge ahead, yeah, a lion may get a couple. But once the lion starts getting jabbed in the flanks with those horns by your mates, they'll back up off the herd. But because you want to be a herd of individuals, a herd of prey, the universal game of cat and mouse will not come to an end. Hold on 1 second. Isn't this so ironic? Game of Thrones up in our face. This is the video game for it. Let's get this garbage. Warning. This program contains language that some viewers may find offensive. We present this program uncensored. Viewers' discretion is advised. My bad. I probably should have said that at the beginning of this video.
Old black woman told me I was 6 years old. Here, come here, boy. Who are you? Reach in my backpack and get that bottle of whiskey. You want something? No. You want to go to bed with me? I hadn't thought about it. Oh, I'm 6 years old. She said, this is August. Put your hand out. Do you feel that heat? I said, no, ma'am. So she put her hand under mine. I said, yeah, I feel it. She said, it's the coolest time of the year. We think it's the hottest time because the heat's leaving. And because of the rhythm, at a certain time, the bird will know it's time to go south. But they said this white man gonna mess it up so bad, man. It's way back in the late 30s. Say they're not gonna feel the heat leaving. So the birds don't know they're supposed to go down south where their dinner's waiting. But they're up here, it ain't no dinner. So they'll eat the bees. Who's responsible for your dinner, boy? He told me that way back then. Babies are born not hating nobody. They learn it from their parents. You have any brothers or sisters?
I had a cousin. He passed.
Any of them got children?
My other cousin has a child.
Okay, I'll do a test sometime when I'm talking. So those of y'all in here, raise your hand. Got children. We'll go back home this week and get the pictures from the time they was 1 to the time they was 8. You don't see no hatred, no meanness, no whores, no pimps. They learned that from you. When they came here, they were pure and clean. They'd been around nobody but your ass. That's how they become pimps, hoes, and hustlers, listening to you around the fucking house.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Thanks again for having the show. Like since we posted the last interview, the response has been incredible. You know, you definitely, the vibrations are going. People are stimulating thought and all that stuff. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to like get caught up for one, and then also
anytime you want
to.
Anytime.
Race is a big issue right now. There's a lot of conversations being had about race and justice and injustice. I mean, you've been on the front lines of this. In the last interview, you talk about, you say you apologize to white folks because they're not the real white folks.
Yeah, they're not. Ku Klux Klan don't determine public policy. The most powerful businessmen in the world is white Christian businessmen in America. They don't wear crosses. You can't find a poor person that got a cross on them. There were no crosses. You know? But how can you call yourself a Christian with a gun and the Bible in the same house? I mean, think about that. The most powerful human being on this planet is my mother, father, God. Huh? And every ant on this planet, there's an accountability to that one. Every frog, every grain of sand, every leaf on a tree. Huh? So what can you want for it? Unless somebody shortcutted it.
Well, I think one of the things when people respond to your interview, it's like, bulbs are lighting up. You're waking up minds.
Yeah.
You're making people aware of things in a way that they may have already agree with it. Maybe they knew some of it. They didn't know all of it.
Yeah, but see, the people who run this ain't worried about it because it's repeat. You can't get it repeat. When you learn your ABCs, it wasn't because you learned it once a month. It's every day, ABC. Mm-hmm. And a Muslim cousin of mine, I said, Merry Christmas. I don't even know why the Christmas holiday. I said, anytime Christmas in this country come on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, your bank closed, you participate.
Right. So
when you can't mail a letter, you participate.
So that's the structure.
Yeah.
And that's the structure of all things. Hold on, I can't stop him on that, folks. That's the structure of all things. It doesn't have to be validated by you or me because it is. And it is the system we're up under. It's the gatekeeper to liberation. It's what bounds you and binds you to wage slavery. It's what determines whether you get shot or not at a traffic stop. You might not agree with it, but you damn sure are up underneath it and subject to it. Let's continue.
And it's white supremacy or patriarchy?
No, it's white supremacy. Okay. White supremacy. That's who it is.
Okay.
Supreme. And if I'm not supreme to you, I'll make you think I am. Mm-hmm. That's how it works. When the World War II ended in Japan and you saw them soldiers putting up the map, that's bullshit, man. AP got there late, so they just went and picked out some soldiers and put there. 2 of them was Indians. All of them went crazy because the lie was too big. Mm-hmm. All of them was alcoholics. The lie was too big. But you can look at people. When I went downstairs to use the men's room, if I come back and the brother put some red paint on me, you will react to the red paint. Mm-hmm. You hear me? You react to the red paint. Mm-hmm. If we went to some darkest part of Africa today, where nobody's ever been, and carried one of them coffee percolators with us, where you have the water down here, and then it goes up, the coffee come back. All we got to do is have the water down here and some red dye, and we can tell them that's blood. We make blood. Okay? See, that's what ignorance is when you have to depend on something else other than what the real God gave you.
Boom. That's what I'll be saying. It's the ignorance that kills us. It's the ignorance that confines us. We would not be in the situation if the ancestors would have had knowledge of what would happen if they behaved a certain way or if they didn't commit to science and technology development. Because I don't care how badass you think you are. Let someone roll up with firearms, a wicked spirit, and no brakes on the hate. You will be annihilated. That's the force. That's the authority of the system. That's why I commonly refer to it as the culture of death. And that's why I often describe most of our current state of being as being in a war of attrition. Time is not on our side. Let's continue.
And then everything changes. Where America is today, is when you hear a baby crying because of your ignorance and your program. Shut up! The baby, the pen is sticking. The baby been there for 3 days, and now gangrene done sit in. That's why you know America can't. They react to us, the cops, the same way you act to a child. Shut up! Okay. All right. Huh?
What? You haven't played World of Warships yet?
How can? Well, it is what it is.
But you know something's wrong with the police, man. As a child, no boy that had no connections in the family ever wanted a police car for Christmas. It was always a fire truck. That's before I learned anything about good and bad and nasty and evil. Fire truck. When I was a little boy, I used to, when I hear a siren, I'd say a prayer. Now my prayer is different. When I see the police car, I pray that they and the people that they're going to deal with will be safe. That's a hell of a way to interrupt the prayer. You have to say that for fire trucks. You know.
So why are we so targeted?
Huh?
Why are we so targeted by the police? People with dark skin.
Because it's real. It's real. That's like asking the Jew why they talk about Germans, or as the Christian why they still talking about Christ. 2,000 years later, but they don't want me to talk about it. Talk about Jesus Christ did that 3,000 years ago. Y'all still talking about it, but it's my turn. It's my turn, but I can't talk about it with hatred. See, if you get mad at me, you know, there's a chemical reaction in your body. That's like letting air out your own tire. Don't bother me. But that's what the whole, and then the misinformation. Misinformation.
Such as, well, let's go into some of these Black Lives Matter issues.
Well, Black Lives Matter, one, the Koch brothers is paying for that, so you have to go into that knowing that's bullshit.
Okay.
That's why it's in Time magazine in 1 month, 3 times cover. See, the thing is this. Jews had a legitimate gripe in Germany when they say Jewish lives matter. Then you come up with some bullshit. Well, so do the Irish, so do the other men. It's the Jews who's being killed. Now, you wasn't talking about, nobody said talking about other lives before we said Black Lives Matter. And it must not matter to somebody because it keeps happening over and over and over. And then white folks realize that one day they better start saying white lives matter. Because when they just busted a major German car manufacturer that tricked the exhaust, and out of that 128 people died. And all they had to do was pay a fine. Nobody had to plead guilty. That's what this is about. When they reduced me down to teaching my black sons that when you see this evil, nigger-hating cop, behave yourself. Anytime you teach a child with your genes that came out your wife's belly to behave for filth, the child believes something wrong with them. I can't believe that you telling me, this is what goes on inside my head. You telling me you know this is a murder, right? I mean, that's how it works. There's a whole lot of doctors that get busted for malpractice. You don't hear nobody say all doctors aren't bad. Hey, wait a minute. Huh? Whole lots of lawyers lose their life. No, how come we say, why you got to say all cops are not bad? Because you know they are. You see them. You in the station with them. You see them. And to be a white cop in America, unless you follow the family tradition, there's something wrong with that. There's too many opportunities for white boys in America to want to be a cop. You didn't like me before you got the gun. Why do you think you don't turn on TV or have white folks on this show that talk about these black cops that shot their brother in the head 44 times? With the thousands of black cops in America, You think cops is better trained or more spiritual? No, then the white folks ain't gonna tolerate it. And so when we get to the point, we're not gonna tolerate it. What does that mean? Get a gun? No, you don't get no gun. All you gotta do is call for a boycott from Thanksgiving to Christmas. 79% of all retail happened doing that. Just to threaten them, they stop. You say, well, we want Confederate flags. There's 12 states in America got Confederate flags somewhere in their flags. All you got to do is say, if that's not removed by this weekend, we're calling for black folks and decent white folks not to send none of your athletes to these southern states. That's not why. Because the South don't have no $1 trillion sports industry except colleges. Okay?
So we're not using our economic power.
You don't know, you ain't got no economic power. What economic powers you got, huh? That's bullshit, man. You ain't got no economic powers. Huh? Name them. Name the only building of a black company. Headquarters is downtown. It's Johnny Johnson's, Ebony and Jet. No, in the whole country. There's no other. And he had to get a white boy to fake. And now he lost it. He don't own it no more.
Right. Yeah, they had to sell the photo archives.
Huh?
They had to sell the photo archives as well.
They sold everything, man.
Yeah.
Predominantly.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't have nothing in this country. They don't want you to have it. Huh?
Yeah. Well, is that part of the game? Like we can have money, but we can't have wealth as black people?
No, that's tricky language, man. My grandma don't know what you just said. You ain't never had no money. Huh? Let me tell you something, man. If you was a congressperson, all Congress districts get a piece of the defense budget. Every one of them. Now, the top 20 defense budget districts is $19 billion or more. The first 11 is Democratic districts.
Oops.
Not Republican. The first two, hear me, 1 or 2 and number 3 is in black districts. Huh? Number 1, Chicago. I'm sorry, St. Louis. Congressman. Why? McDonnell Douglas. Number 3, the ex-Black Panthers is in Congress from Chicago. What's that? Boeing aircraft. So if you don't know the language, you can't figure it out. And that's what it's about. White ain't a color, it's an attitude. And we don't know nothing about no damn money. Huh? And what money you got, they can take it from you in the morning. Outside of Washington, D.C., there's a huge place they build in that gambling casino. National Harbor. A black man owned all of that. Not just the harbor. That's just 1/10 of the land that he owned. White boy show up one day and say, Mill, we need to talk to you. We got the documents, we're going to buy your land. Oh, him, don't worry about it. That's narcotics. That's the drugs. While you was in the room winking at that waitress, he was putting drugs in your car. So we're fixing to bust you. It's that simple.
Oh, congratulations, first off, on the Walk of Fame, Hollywood Walk of Fame. I watched the thing. You had a lot of great people come out to support you, and of course, your wife and everything. So congratulations.
But I didn't care about it, about the trick.
So we define the white folks as, so I guess, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants, or is it like...
I don't get into that. I say white folks.
White folks, okay.
White folks.
So if...
And I know all white folks ain't white.
Okay.
Yeah. I tell white folks that if you can't get on the phone and call the stock market and determine if you're going up or going down, you ain't white.
So, I mean, is there such a thing as an Illuminati? Is there an Illuminati?
If you know about it, it's not. That's bullshit.
Okay.
The real things that count, most black folk don't know about it. The Illuminati, black folk can't even read or write, know about the Illuminati. What's that? It's like the Boule. Talk about black folks. Well, tell me what business they own. What company they own. Y'all sit around talking about the boule, huh? What goes behind that? Okay? It's the stuff they put out, man. It's a game.
Now, how deep does it run? I mean, you were talking about how the starved rock thing you talked about in the last clip, that encounter that you had, getting fame. Like a lot of people watching it dream of the kind of success that you had.
That ain't number chump stuff, man. Okay. Ain't number chump stuff. Who was the number one baseball player? History of baseball, 100 years. You don't know. I give a damn about that. The word fan means, it's a Latin word, fanatic, huh? And while we talking about it, Notre Dame's playing somebody today. Georgia's playing Alabama. Whoever wins, the white team will tear up the town. But it's okay to ride behind a silly game. But when you shoot my dad or my son in the back of the head 40 times, that's off limits. Okay? They do it all the time. Every time the game is won. I never understood why the winners ride. Okay? So this is the game. Martin Luther King will be remembered as long as somebody's on the planet. Athletic stuff is that. I don't even mention their name.
Right. No, but I'm talking about in terms of like I read your book, Nigger.
Yeah.
And I read Callous of the Soul.
Yeah.
And I love both books.
Yeah.
I mean, you've led a fascinating life. But there seems to be a transformation. Like at the end of Nigger, you're still riding the fame. Like it's a success story in a way of that kind of reinforces the American dream. Like I came from humble beginnings and I became.
Yeah, but that's you. I never said that.
Okay.
I never said that.
Okay, so what?
I've always been listed in the phone book. I never had a bodyguard. The filthiest people on this planet is athletes and entertainers. Okay? You with this show have done more for the humanity than 99% of all the athletes and entertainers on the planet. But they've even tricked you to believe that you ain't nothing but doo-doo and they something big. They ain't nothing but a piece of shit, man. All of them, a handful of them will break through. Like Ali. Handful of them will break through.
Right. But what I'm getting at is that you traded it all. You traded all the money and the success and funneled it into the movement.
That was me. That had nothing to do with no damn coach. Huh? I wasn't controlled by white folks. Huh? Black folks made me. Man, I'm in a little club making $5 a night, 3 nights a week. Huh? When I wasn't funny. See? I was the laugh at the party. I was the party clown. Most black folks can do that. What's the difference in being a comedian? Time and timing. What you doing here now? Hey, man, you can just walk in here and say, people sitting there, wow, man. No, you prepared for this. You knew what this was going to be about. You read the books. Huh? So you just don't jump in here and start doing it.
Right.
Well, that's the same thing with athletes. When I see football on Sunday, I see slavery all over again. The Negroes in the field picking cotton with a ball, and the white folks sitting on the bench with a clipboard trying to act intelligent. Are you crazy? So that's what this is about. But it's weak in spirit, weak in heart. Ain't nothing going for you. So I got to reach for something. My family didn't do it. My children did it. So I got to reach at something, huh? And them children better not make no noise while that game's on.
And there it is, y'all. Better not make no noise while the game's on. And we're all in the game. I'm asking y'all, make some damn noise. This will conclude TPIM SR Live for today. I'd like to thank all the viewers and listeners and everyone who shares the broadcast on their social media. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Because of you, this show is growing and getting stronger. As always, I ask you to live your life with integrity without hate, envy, or greed. Brothers and sisters, please, let's try to be kinder to one another. Peace and power, unity and victory, dignity and respect, liberation. I'm out.